What's up, guys? This is your boy Jalen here on another episode of Elevated Minds. Once again, we have our man here, Daniel Fox, masculinity mentor. We are going to be having a really interesting topic again today. So we've already done a topic before on why women are single, why men were saying they think women are single. So now we have to do the inverse. So now we got why are men single, why women think that they are. And so got a list of things here. We're going to go down the line. It's going to be a learning session for both men and women alike. And I think we're just going to go with it. So the first reason that women put that men are single is because they have low confidence and low self-esteem.
Low confidence and low self-esteem. So first of all, is there a difference between low confidence and low self-esteem? I think that's an important question to ask.
That is an important question. I feel like confidence is more like I'm confident in myself. I'm sure of myself. I know what I've got to offer type of thing. And then self-esteem, I feel like that can be more of how you feel about yourself personally. Like, do I feel like I look good? Do I feel like I'm competent? Do I feel like I have traits inside of me that I can offer a woman or offer the world, or just your image of yourself? I think it can kind of differ in that way. What is your take on that?
Yeah, I heard this quote a while back, a couple of years back, as self-esteem is built by doing esteemable acts. And so I've never done this before. We'll see how this works. But so this is how I kind of got it layered. Like on the top layer, you got this public-facing confidence, and you can have public-facing confidence without anything undergirding it. Okay, you don't have to do people on meth have a lot of confidence, but they don't have a lot of self-esteem. So a real integrated man, a man of integrity, a man of service, like the kind of guys that we're trying to be, that we're talking to, these are guys that have confidence that's built on something substantial. They're confident because they do esteemable things and they know themselves, for the most part, as esteemable people. Like, we're not deluding ourselves because we're on some kind of drug or some kind of, like, we just listen to like Jay-Z in the car and we're like, yeah. Like, I don't know if people listen to. I listen to Jay-Z in the car.
I love Jay-Z.
Honestly, Kanye gets me hyped, but that's can't say that for a little bit.
I know.
Confidence seems like it's more of a surface thing, and then the self-esteem is built. It's like, how do you view yourself? Am I a good person? Is what I wake up and do every day in service to others, or am I serving myself? Am I a boy? Or is it neutral and I'm just a guy?
That's true. That's a good way to look at it, because I think self-esteem, what are some things that guys can do to build self-esteem?
This is great. It's a practical question. So what are some things guys can do to build self-esteem? First of all, serve people. Like the whole basis of self-esteem is that you're oriented into being like helpful in the world. Like your mind is preoccupied with making sure people around you are safe, happy, healthy, that they're like killing it. And so if you walk around in the world and your purview is only like, how can I get what I need? Or like, how can I get off? Or like, how can I get my next, whatever it is that you choose to do to get your dopamine hit, then the self-esteem available in those pursuits is fleeting, and it may actually be like draining your self-esteem, because on a longer time scale, you'll find that nobody is engaging with you in your life because you don't engage with them, because you're not showing up you're not showing up in love, you're not showing up with care and thoughtfulness and contribution and boundaries, like not for yourself, but like you're not showing up in leadership. So those things, if you find that you're walking around through the day and you're like not thinking about how I'm carrying myself, how is how I'm living my life affecting others in a positive way, then it may be that you look there first to start developing an orientation toward esteemable acts, which will bring you self-esteem, which makes your confidence valid.
I like that. So, like, self-esteem is almost like that building block for the confidence in a way. I think that's a really good way to put it, because I mean, I'm a person that used to have very low self-esteem in my late teens, early to mid 20s, and it was pretty much the things that you were mentioning. You know, it was what can I get, it's about me, not realizing it, but it was, and it needed to be more about service, about providing value, not just worrying about just me. There's other people here. If people are responding to me in this sort of way, how am I showing up? That's a huge thing, especially in dating. If you have a very low self-esteem, then that's going to probably show in your confidence. You might try to portray this confidence to women and things like that, but if your self-esteem is low, women are going to feel that. I mean, most people are going to feel that. So I could see a man struggling to get dates or struggling to be in a relationship with a woman if he doesn't have high self-esteem for himself. And he could be a very attractive guy, look really good on the outside, and have this kind of persona that he's confident. But if you don't have that self-esteem, it definitely, I feel like it's going to show.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the world does not need more confident men. The world needs more esteemable men.
I like that.
I don't need to sell a course on confidence hacks. Like, the whole thing just seems like a rickety bridge built on some sand. We need men willing to show up and know themselves as worthwhile, as giving, as loving, as competent, and they just go do it. And then from that, they're so preoccupied with service. They're so preoccupied with, how am I going to make the world a better place? That confidence just sits on top. It's the result. It's the cream that rises to the top. It's real. Confidence hacks is just totally inverted. Now, it's a signal. So if we're talking about dating and why men are single and they don't have confidence, well, the road of integrity is a longer road to build confidence. And I want to buy the confidence hacks course, but ultimately you're going to be in a relationship and still be self-oriented, and your relationship will suffer because of your self-orientation.
Ooh, that is true. It's like, I feel like that's something you can't shortcut. That's something I've learned. You can't shortcut it. It's built, not given. And so people, I think that they can just buy it, like you said, buy a course and just automatically have that confidence. Just, I bought this course and I can read this book and now I'm good. Like, that's not how it works. It's like built brick by brick, and it's like by doing. You become confident in things. Just like if you're learning, a new sport, like say you're trying to learn how to play tennis or football or something, and you're terrible at it at first, and you don't have any confidence in yourself. You can't seem to coordinate when the ball is coming, or you can't seem to throw the ball when you're playing football. You're not very confident in yourself when you're not good at it. But as you practice and you put in the repetition, Kobe said it the best. He talked about how the reason why he was so good is he put in so many hours. Like, he put in so much time. He put in so much effort, training 2, 3, 4 times a day, when the average athlete was only doing 1 or 2 times a day. And that little edge gave him that much more advantage over his opponents. And he could have confidently said that, I'm the best, because he put in the time and the effort. And not only you could feel the esteem, but you could feel the confidence, and he was able to back up the confidence because of the work that he put in.
Yeah. Now let's orient this to women. Like, let's make this let's phrase this in a way that's going to be helpful to women.
Okay.
So if women are noting that confidence is lacking in men, and that's why men are single, then women might be looking for the wrong things. And we don't want women to look for the wrong things, because they're going to end up on the other side of a relationship of somebody who projected confidence hacks and is still oriented toward themselves. So how can women actually look for self-worth and self-esteem when they're dating a guy, and not just look at how he holds his shoulders? You know, like, how did he learn to like fix his posture, and like, how did he learn to deepen his voice, and like, how did he learn to say, you know, did he learn to nag you? Like, did that, you know, somehow signal that he's, you know, got self-worth? If you want to be with a man who's going to be an honorable man of integrity in relationship, what do you look for when you're dating? Take that.
That's a good one. So I feel like women got to look at actions, and because someone can say they're confident, or they can appear confident, or like they're a great person, but at the end of the day, it's really, what is this person doing? Are they serving you? Do they serve others? What's their relationship like with their family? What's their relationship like with their peers? What type of values do they stand on? Because this is really what you got to look at. Everybody looks good on paper. When they, especially like I said, the first 90 days, people can hide who they are confidently for the first 90 days, but it slowly starts to trickle out after the 4 or 5 month mark. But it's really looking like, you gotta really look if there's some type of an indicator or a red flag. This guy does seem to be really into himself. He doesn't seem to care about me. He doesn't seem to really have a heart for others. He doesn't have any compassion. You gotta look at these things. Sometimes I feel like people can look at the physical and think, oh yeah, he's a man. This is a man. He's he'll take care of me. He'll do this and this. But you gotta look between the lines. But like you said, what is he compassionate? Does he have any good values? Does his values match with yours? Because your values, you might value certain things, but his values are on a whole different spectrum of what he holds dear. It could be that he's just selfish of himself. So I think women just have to really look for these things, look for actions. Look at what he's doing. Don't listen to really what he's saying. I mean, listen to what he's saying, but don't go solely off of that, because that can lead you down years of turmoil on a guy that you could have just wrote off in 3 months or less.
Yeah, right. There's a really easy framework that I put together to understand where men are developmentally. And you got boys, you got guys, and you got men. And it's just a really simple orientation. If a male needs served, if he needs to take, he's a boy. If he's pretty much neutral, like he's serving himself, he's able to, like he's making his own meals, he's paying his own rent, he's a guy. This is right, average. Once your orientation flips to serving others, that's what makes you a man. So if we're going to answer this age-old question, what makes a man? It is the flip, where you go from being competent of caring for yourself to competently caring for others. Or as a woman that I once heard say it, she's like, I want to get in his boat if he's already rowing for two.
A lot of men really are guys. That's a really good. I like the way that you painted that. The categories. I feel like you can definitely tell when a man is, or a guy is a boy. That you can tell when he's just immature, doesn't have any type of ambition, like no compassion. He's really just not even. He's focused on what you can do for him. He wants to be cared for too, like totally cared for. I feel like there's a lot of men in this world that are actually just guys, just that middle ground. But I feel like it's something like some people are in their 50s and 60s and they're still not men yet. That's the crazy part about it. But I think it's going to be something that men have to work on as far as self-development, really becoming better and focusing on that. If you can't become better, then you're going to be where you always have been. And, that's what I think a lot of these women are experiencing, is the same type of guy and they're seeing it reincarnated in different people that they're, dating. I've got another good one here. So women are saying that a lot of men are single because they're bad at sex.
Oh, I wouldn't know anything about that.
Me neither.
I'm sorry. Should we go here? Should we really go here fully?
Yeah, I know.
I mean, this can be a set of clips that can really help some guys not be single.
I think that's why I picked out some of the really good ones. I think this one could be a really good one for us to talk about.
All right. I'm going to paint in broad brush strokes as to not get banned off of platforms. There are certain ways that a man is with a woman, the normal ways, right? And sometimes when you're excited as a man, those ways end quickly.
Very.
Okay, this is where this comes into play. You don't stop until you make sure she's gotten enough. You don't stop. We quoted Kanye earlier. Now we'll quote Michael Jackson, and we'll just see how many problematic. Maybe R. Kelly's next. So the digital methods that are available. These are digits, by the way. That's why it's digital. Those are really important. So if you find yourself as a guy not being able to show up enough in the normal ways, make sure that the session doesn't end until there's real pleasure to be had through, because this thing doesn't go soft. Your hands, right. You have bones in your hand. That's great. Now, if what you're doing isn't pleasant to her, if it's not pleasurable, if it's not bringing her more pleasure, well, then take responsibility for that and go either in communication with her or maybe simultaneously do some research on how to use your hands to make sure that that's bringing her pleasure. I think that's probably a real quick tip that anybody can use if they're not already doing it. Absolutely.
I think men definitely need to realize there are what we call erogenous zones. And, it's not, I think a lot of men are just like, jackhammer, I'm trying to get this done, this is what I want, and I'm trying to get to the destination. But I think if men start to understand more that it's like a dance, and it's like you can use other things besides just that one part. You can touch, you can kiss, you can caress. It's all about getting her there. That's what it really should be. You really should be focused on service, in this type of situation. And I think the reason why men get such a bad rep on this subject is a lot of times, like you said, they might be completing the mission too fast without knowing how. And this is a real thing. This is a real issue with a lot of men. A lot of them aren't able to control themselves. And I feel like sexual health is actually really important, because a lot of times men might just not have the drive because of diet, the simple things: diet, sleep, not enough sleep, exercise, having yourself in a good physical state. That's going to be your basis. Then if you go into the premature mission complete, there's a lot of things that can come into play. I don't even know if men have heard about like Kegels. I don't know if you've heard about Kegels before, but
thank you.
It's like practicing. Even in the Way of the Superior Man, they talk about this a lot. And men, if any men are watching this, that's a really good book for you to check out when it comes to this subject that we're talking about here. Because you want to please the woman. If you can really please her and have her enjoy herself in this moment, she's gonna want more. She's gonna want to come back for more. And you would Well, I never really understood why men were so into just getting that one and done, and then all right, I'm good. Like I never really understood that. I feel that this is it's a fun journey. You know, it's like you can make a game out of it. You can do a lot of things to make it more interesting, and than just okay, bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. Like it can be a lot more than that, and especially if you have a connection with the person. When you have a really good connection with the woman, you can feel her body, you can feel her energy, you can, and you learn things, and there's communication. You can communicate during the session so that you can understand what she likes, what she doesn't like, or hurting her if you're not, maybe you need to switch positions, or, there's all types of things that come into play here that I feel a lot of men are ignoring. And so this is for you guys. If you want to be better at this, there's education, there's ways that you can look up, you can list, you can actually talk to women and learn what they learn. I mean, that's something I did when I was, learning more about women and their anatomy and what they like and what they don't like, and just befriended women and just listen. They will tell you, oh, this guy, he didn't even touch me, or he didn't even kiss me before we started. He just was ready to start intercourse. And, I think if men realize it's not just about you, it's not just about you. You got to realize there's a woman here too that you need to make sure that you're, enticing her. You're playing with her. You're causing it to like to be a song and dance rather than just abrupt, just overly physical without the emotional part with it too.
Yeah. I want to give voice to what I hear from women when we talk about this stuff, sex, and and that is, I need to feel safe enough with him so that I can open. And that is really what's happening during sex, is that she's opening her body to you, and a woman can open her legs, but there's a deeper opening, and there's also an energetic, or like a heart opening. There's a nervous system relaxation. And in order to get her there properly, there are two time frames that you want to think about making her feel safe in. One is, how long have you known her, and how much does she know of your character, and how much does she know that she is safe with you as a human being, that you're a good human being? And then there's what we call foreplay, which is how can I make her feel safe and relaxed in this moment right before we do the deed.
Right. And that's a huge thing. I feel that a lot of men don't foreplay, and foreplay can start before you even enter the bedroom. That's the thing a lot of men don't realize. The foreplay can start in the restaurant. You can start in the movie theater. You can start in the car. That's another thing I wanted to get into was flirting and things like that. But that's another one. I want to actually just ease right into that.
Well, let's just say I don't want to dismiss jackhammering. I do want to put it in its proper context that it is a paint color. Yes. Jackhammering, it's a color that you use in the painting.
Yes.
If sex is a painting, then you got a little red, a little blue, a little green, and you are attuned to what the picture wants. Like, you are in service to the picture. And this leads me to the next point that I forgot I wanted to make, which was, as a culture, we think that women are the ones serving men by having sex with us.
Right.
I rarely hear anything else. In fact, what is happening is, as a man, you are showing up in service to her, as always, in sex too. And that is how this whole thing works. You are in service when you open her door, you're in service when you buy her dinner, you're in service when you hold her hand, and you're in service in the bedroom. It doesn't flip. You don't all of a sudden get to be the spoiled boy. you are still showing up in service to her pleasure, in service to her feeling her body, and to even connecting spiritually. There's a very deep spiritual component that if you understand, if you show up present in the bedroom and you're a safe person to be around and you're skilled and competent at giving her pleasure, that it's likely there's going to be a spiritual experience that comes along with your sexual experience.
Yes, and I love how you talked about the colors. I don't want the guys to think. I'm not saying jackhammering is a bad thing. I'm saying if you're only doing that, you don't want to do that, you know. But it's just like you said. It's a little bit learning what how to go with the flow with these things. There's little components that go, all different types of components that go into it to make it a whole enjoyable experience. And once you can get in the frame of you are in service, it's gonna be different than I'm just gonna let her do her thing. And don't get me wrong, if you do a good service, she's gonna return the favor. she definitely will. But you know, it's like you said, it's more. There is an emotional thing. There is a spiritual thing that happens there when you can make her feel safe enough to fully open yourself. Some way, I feel like there's a lot of men that will never fully experience a woman because they haven't fully opened her. Even though they've opened her, they haven't fully opened her. Yeah, that was another thing that women were saying is a lot of men are bad at flirting.
Yeah, that I understand. I understand. I don't feel like I'm particularly good at flirting either, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you know, it took me. I'll have to use a story time for this. So, yeah. You know, I was homeschooled for like 6 or 7 years. I was in kindergarten to 4th grade at this private Christian school, and then the school shut down, and my parents wanted me to, me and my sister, do the same curriculum, so we were homeschooled. And while we were homeschooled, you know, it was just me, my sister, and my mom for 7 years. So I literally had no skills with women. I did not know how to flirt. I did not know how to talk to women besides like the women that was at my church. And that was like, you know, nothing. And even the ones I was attracted to, I didn't know how to talk to them. So, you know, I went years without knowing how to flirt. You know, I really didn't know how to approach women or anything like that. And so I can see where a lot of men do have this issue with being bad at flirting. I mean, I'm not the greatest at flirting, but I feel like I've gotten better at flirting. Just through trial and error, learning what works, learning what doesn't work. You can say that, you can't say that, or learning, it's about how you say things, more so than what you're saying. And, you know, because flirting is showing it can be like showing your sexual intent without actually showing your sexual intent. And it's playful, it's fun, it's light, and it's something that women love. They love flirting.
There's something that you said that reminded me of another thing about flirting, is that you really got to be able to like pull the pin on the grenade, throw the grenade over, and then just in slow motion turn your back and walk away. In some ways, I'm not saying that's like how you do it, but there has to be a level of detachment from what's going to happen. And I'll tell you, like, on a deeper level, what that signals is that you have important things going on. You speak your mind, you know your own value, you know that what you say is true. And so if you come up to somebody and you just say, you know, a flirtatious thing like that's really true, and you are not, there's no like, your heart doesn't start beating fast. You're not like looking at her expression to see if it landed okay. You're just like, I want to fuck you later.
Right.
I'm not recommending people say that. But if you had to add that up. Forgive me, Lord. But if you say, yeah, it's really clear you're really attractive. And then you just carry on the conversation, but there's no like, you're so hot. You say you're so hot. That's a question. That's a request.
Right.
You're saying, I gave you something, validate me now. Like, validate my courage, validate the fact that I'm also here. Maybe you think I'm hot too. Like, a man who's flirting it's not a request. It's not a request for validation. It's not a request for the compliment to be returned. It is a gift. When you flirt, it's a gift. This is the whole theme of what we talk about. Everything you do, you show up in service. You show up in service. If she's radiant, you say, you're radiant. And you don't want a goddamn thing back.
Right.
Statement of fact, and you're willing to walk away from it.
That I love the analogy you said with the pull the grenade, throw it, walk away, turn around. It's all. I think a lot of men have an attachment on the outcome of what happens when you flirt, and that is what causes so much awry inside of you, because you're so focused on what's gonna happen. Is she gonna like? Maybe she's not gonna like me. Am I gonna get rejected? You know, and then your heart's beating, your hands are shaking, you feel all this anxiety, and people can feel that, and women absolutely can feel that. And so, but no one's gonna be good at flirting on the first try. It's gonna take some trial and error. It's gonna, like I said, you're gonna have to try some things, see what works. What works with this woman may not work with this one. Some women you can flirt a little bit further. You can push the envelope a little bit further. And some, you got to open her up a little bit more. Some might not like you at all. And that's something that you just have to get past as a man. If flirting is something that you want to get better at, it's something that you have to practice, just like a muscle. It's just like basketball. If you want to get better at basketball, if you want to learn how to play the flute, you have to practice. You can't be afraid of the outcome of, I got rejected this one time in 7th grade. Lucianne, she said, I'm too short, and so she didn't want to go to the dance with me, so I'm never going to ask a girl out again. You can't be like that. You might get rejected again at some point. You will get rejected at some point again. But if you want to get better at flirting, it's something you have to practice. Something you have to incorporate. And something, there was somebody that I forget what her name was, but she was like a dating coach for men, and she said, practice flirting with everyone. Practice flirting with, and flirting doesn't have to be sexual. It can just be you're making conversation, you're showing genuine interest, or saying things to people. It could be the cash register at JCPenney's. It could be the clerk at the grocery store. It could be someone at the bowling alley. It doesn't really matter. It just get in the practice, even if it's men. Just get in the practice of talking to people and just being open with people. And as you start to talk to like the 10th, 11th, 20th, 40th person in the week or 2 weeks or however long, you're gonna start to realize, this isn't even as bad as I thought. And this, said, practice, like you said, when you said you are radiant, you could practice giving compliments to very attractive women. Don't expect anything. Don't focus on the outcome. Just find an attractive woman in the mall or wherever you're at. You can go up there and say something to her. Hey, I've just seen you over here. I just want to say I think you're really beautiful. You don't have to say anything else, and just go about your day. Have a great day. But you can get in the habit. Just get in the habit of it, and then it's not as scary as you think.
Let's upgrade that example compliment, because what I've found is more specific and maybe even intuitive or deep the compliment is, the more success that you're going to have. Because if a woman is in fact objectively beautiful, if she gets a lot of attention, then another man at a mall coming up to her saying you're beautiful is not going to mean a whole lot. But let's just take it a cut deeper, and let's say with this particular person, you notice that she carries herself with confidence. Like, why is she beautiful to you? What is it? So then if you answer that question for yourself as you're observing her, then tell her that thing. Tell her the why. So you go up to her and you say, like, your sense of style reminds me of Jackie Onassis. And that's absolutely stunning. Thank you. And now that seems kind of, she might think you're gay. Whatever. Or you say, like, the way that you carry yourself just exudes positive energy in this whole space.
I like that.
And whatever it is, like, The thing is, it can sound sleazy if you're trying to use it to be manipulative. But what we're doing is knowing your value as a man, knowing that you are a giver and you have a gift to give, seeing somebody who you'd like to give a gift to, and then giving that gift and not being attached to any outcome. She doesn't owe you anything. You go around in the world handing out gifts, handing out specific gifts that make a woman's day. And if you do that with your whole life and never make a second request, never expect anything in return, and you want to get laid a bunch, guaranteed. Done deal.
I totally agree with that. And I like that point. I actually read that point somewhere. I can't remember. But those specific things, you don't want to just give a generic response. A beautiful woman is going to say, oh, yeah, I know I'm beautiful. Or I got 10, 15 guys come up to me every day that tell me that. Tell me something I don't know. But, like you said, if you can do things that aren't so visible. Like you said, I love the way that you carry yourself. You carry yourself with such class. Reminds me of, like you said, reminds me of this person. Or you the way that you dress, the way that it could be anything, but it has to be genuine. The genuine compliments go so much further. There was this one woman. I said something about her. What was it? She had this ornament. I can't remember. I think it was earrings. I never seen these earrings before. I was like, wow, I love those earrings. It looks like it was like hoop earrings, but they look like moons or something like that. I was like, those are really dope. I never seen anything like that before. It looked really good on you. And she was like, oh wow, thank you. No one mentioned anything about these, and I wear them like all the time. But it genuinely made her day, and so it can be anything as long as you can be genuine and don't focus. Like I said, don't focus on the outcome.
Áudio é foda, né? Áudio é foda, né? Áudio é foda, né?